item is a procedural item that we're going to take care of, and this is similar to some of the other resolutions that we've looked at over the last couple of months to allow remote telephonic public comment at our meetings. And so as we've been doing these resolutions, they have been being approved for 30 days at a time, and so our current one is coming to an end. And so before you tonight in your staff packet is a resolution for your consideration which would allow remote telephonic public comment on this commission from the period of February 20th to the period of March 22nd. And so if that option is pursued and that is passed, then we would be able to allow remote telephonic public comment in the future. Again, this is very similar to the resolutions that were brought before you at the January 15th, 2022 meeting and the October 25th and December 20th, 2021 meetings. And so if we are to reaffirm the resolution, we need to reconfirm the circumstances of the state of the emergency, and then that would allow a authorization of remote telephonic public comment again from the period of February 20th to March 22nd, hopefully covering much further than we need to go with this commission. So with that, again, in your staff packet is a resolution of the Independent Redistricting Commission of the City of Roseville to reauthorize remote telephonic participation in the meetings pursuant to the Brown Act as amended by Assembly Bill 361 for the period of February 20th, 2022 to March 22nd, 2022. And so if we were to pass this, we would basically be making a finding that due to the unknown impacts that COVID's causing, that will continue to cause and create imminent risks to the health and safety of persons within the city and have a direct impact on attendees of meetings of the Redistricting Commission and the ability to meet safely in person. So again, before you is this resolution. If there is a motion to approve this resolution, that would be in turn now, and it would be for the Independent Redistricting Commission to have reconsidered the circumstances of the state of the emergency and determine that the state of emergency continues to directly impact the ability to meet safely in person, and that therefore the Independent Redistricting Commission shall conduct their meetings with remote telephonic participation as an option as provided in the California Government Code. So back to you, Chair.
Any questions from commissioners for Joe?
Yeah, so how does that fit in there with the mask mandate?
There still is a state of emergency technically in effect, so just the mask mandate went away. When I wrote my staff report, I wrote it before the mask mandate went away, and I didn't know what would happen, so that hopefully we could address that tonight. But in reality, it's just the mask mandate changed. Everything else is the same for purposes of what we're considering on this resolution, same thing that we have done each time.
Any questions? Any comments from the public on agenda item number 5.1? Seeing none, we'll close public comment on that agenda item. Do commissioners have any comments they'd like to make on this agenda item?
I do. I just want to stress that we've always been open to comments approved. So I'm hoping that we'll continue as we have, just so that the last meeting will be still telephonic and we'll still be able to get comments.
Commissioners with comment? Would anybody like to make a motion to approve this resolution to continue remote telephonic participation through March
22nd.
22nd? Is there a motion or a second? Second. Brian? All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Can we do a roll call vote?
Want to do a roll
Yeah,
call?
please.
Borovia? Yes. Cuthbertson? Yes. Frank?
Here. Oh, yes.
Griffith? Yes. Woodward?
Yes.
McPhail? Yes. O'Keefe, when did you get here?
43 seconds to go.
What say you?
Yes.
Wagner?
Yes.
Waldrop?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you, and just as a reminder, the resolution will take effect February 20th and will be in effect until March 22nd.
Okay, next agenda item is 5.2, overview of the preliminary redistricting plan and draft map B1.
Good evening again, everybody. My name is Joe Mandel from the Roseville City Attorney's Office, and welcome to the fourth of 5 public hearings that we're going to have to consider public comments on draft map B1. I'm going to be doing an overview of the preliminary redistricting plan and draft map B1 that was selected as the final draft map by this commission at the January 24th, 2022 meeting. I'm going to have a presentation here. There's also a presentation back there, and then you will see a couple of boards back there that show draft map B1 and then how it changed from draft map B. And we have a whole bunch of papers over here if you'd like to take something also to see and take home with you about draft map B1. So starting from the very beginning, why are we here? What is the commission and their purpose? So the Independent Redistricting Commission was something that was added by the voters when they approved Measure R at the election on November 3rd, 2020. And that added Article 11 to our Roseville City Charter to establish a redistricting process that's open and transparent and allows public comment on the drawing of city council district boundaries, ensures that district boundaries are drawn according to the redistricting criteria set forth in the city charter and applicable state and federal laws, and ensures that the redistricting process is conducted with integrity, fairness, and without personal or political considerations. A lot of this language that I'm putting in here is straight from our city charter, Article 11. If you'd like to look at that, it's available on our webpage. When drawing a map, the commission has certain redistricting criteria that they need to consider. And so subsection A of Article 11, section 11.09 of our charter says the commission shall draw its final map so that council districts are substantially equal in population as required by the U.S. Constitution. And that population equality is as determined by each census that's done every 10 years. Item number 2, the commission shall draw its final map so that council district boundaries comply with the U.S. Constitution, the California Constitution, the Federal Voting Rights Act of 1965, and any other requirements in the law. Moving on, we've seen the items that need to be considered, and now we're looking at the items that are going to be considered in an order of priority for redistricting criteria for the commission to consider. Item number 1, to the extent practicable, council districts shall be geographically contiguous. Item number 2, in order of priority, to the extent practicable, the geographic integrity of any local neighborhood association boundaries, or local community of interest shall be respected in a manner that minimizes its division. And we have a defined term in here of a community of interest. That's a population that shares common social or economic interests that should be included within a single district for purposes of its effective and fair representation. And I'd like to note that communities of interest do not include relationships with political parties, incumbents, or political candidates. Moving on in order of priority, item number 3, council district boundaries should be easily identifiable and understandable by residents. To the extent practicable, council districts should be bounded by natural and artificial barriers, by streets, or by other boundaries of the city. Item number 4 in order of priority, where it does not conflict with the preceding criteria, council districts should be drawn to encourage geographical compactness in a manner that nearby areas of population are not bypassed in favor of more distant populations. And then item number 5 is any other commission adopted criteria that doesn't conflict with the other requirements, and there are no other commission adopted criteria. Moving on now, the commission, to see the things that the commission shall not consider for redistricting criteria. The commission shall not adopt council district boundaries for the purpose of favoring or discriminating against a political party, and the commission shall not consider the place of residence of any individual, including any incumbent or political candidate, in the creation of a map. So those are the criteria that we are looking at, and now this is some of the procedure for how we move forward and adopt a map. This comes out of the City Charter, Article 11, Section 11.10. The Commission shall file a preliminary redistricting plan and draft map with the City Clerk, along with a written statement of findings and reasons for adoption, which shall include the criteria employed in the process and a full analysis and explanation of the decisions made by the Commission. And the City Clerk shall publish the preliminary redistricting plan and draft map for at least 30 calendar days prior to the adoption of a final redistricting report and final map. The preliminary redistricting plan and draft map for draft map B1 were published on January 27th, 2022. And so now we're moving forward with that 30-day review period. And so During that 30 calendar day review period after publication, the commission shall hold at least 5 public hearings, including 1 public hearing in each council district. You can see we're at the 4th of 5 of the public hearings, and our next meeting will be on Tuesday, February 22nd at 6 p.m. at St. John's Episcopal Church. And then we will move forward toward a final map adoption. So after having heard comments from the public on the preliminary redistricting plan and draft map, the commission shall adopt a final redistricting report and final map. A commission-adopted final redistricting report and final map has the force and effect of law and is effective 30 calendar days after it's filed with the city clerk and shall remain effective essentially for the next 10 years until the next census is completed. And the city council may not rescind, supersede, or revise the district boundaries that have been adopted by the commission. You see that we have a final map adoption date scheduled for Monday, February 28th at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers at 311 Vernon Street. That meeting is open and available to the public, as is our next meeting on Tuesday at St. John's, and we would invite all of you to come and comment. After having heard, after the final map has been adopted, the city clerk is required to number each council district so that for as many residents as possible, the number of the council district they reside in remains the same. I wanted to note that for draft map B1, that's already been done, and so you can see the areas that will be affected with the changes in draft map B1. And finally, the final redistricting report and final map shall be subject to referendum in the same manner as ordinances. So with all that as background, my next slide is draft map B1. I wanted to note that draft map B1 is an adjusted version of draft map B, and the adjustments were made by the Independent Redistricting Commission at their January 24th, 2022 meeting following a series of public hearings throughout January of 2022. And draft map B was originally published for public consideration on December 20th, 2021. Draft map B1 has a total deviation of 9.4%, and the way that it differs from draft map B is you can see the bottom right-hand corner of the pink section, district number 4, is slightly different, as well as the upper right corner of district 2. And those are the 2 changes that have been made from draft map B to draft map B1. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to the chair to receive public comment on draft map B1.
Thank you. And just a reminder, this is a non-action item, it's for information only. Are there any questions from commissioners on the presentation? We'll go ahead and open it up for public comment on agenda item 5.2. Again, it is a public meeting. We appreciate feedback from the public on these maps. So if you'd like to come forward and state your name, that would be appreciated.
Here. Good evening. My name is Ellen DeBuck Riley. I want to thank you for being so diligent about respecting the community of interest that is the historic part of Roseville. I know in no small part you're still here having hearings because of the changes you made for our neighborhood, and we deeply appreciate that. There is one little comment, and I know it's not going to change, but I wanted to point out that Alta Vista is still split. On the left-hand side, that section that's all looks like a green area is actually the golf course, Sierra View Golf Course, which only has one entrance and is off of Alta Vista. That actually has been part of the Sierra Vista neighborhood since it was created in the 1950s. So I know the reason it didn't land in our district is because it includes a lot of residents from Diamond Oaks, and that can't be changed now. But I think the reason that it was overlooked was because of mine and others' limited understanding about the census blocks. And so maybe just for future reference, that would be something that would be helpful to explain at the beginning of the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak on this agenda item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment on item 5.2 and open it up to comments from commissioners. Seeing none, again, this is a non-action action item, information only. Anything further from staff? Then we'll go ahead and seek a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, February 29th. There's a motion on the floor. Second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposition? All right, we'll see you all on February 22nd.
Thank you.